Hi, this is our bioarchaeology assignment on Labrets under the topic of body modification. I'm Madeline.
I'm Curice.
Here we go.
So what are labrets? A labret is an ornament worn on either the upper or lower lip, can be close to the corners of the mouth. As you can see from the photos, the top one, she's got it protruding from her lower lip on a flat surface. You can also have it protruding where the bottom lip comes out, and you can actually see it closer to the top or the inside of the lip. There are different sizes and styles depending on what they're made out of or which cultural background they were found in. There are many shapes and sizes, various materials. They can be made out of stone, bone, wood, shell, coal, ivory, glass, copper, silver, gold, or basically any other material that is available. They can be composed of many materials in a singular labret compound, and they'll come in different styles, just depending again on which cultural or which tribe they're worn in.
So labrets and their connection to bioarchaeology, they're really important in bioarchaeology because of their cultural significance. Although it is still being investigated, we know that they were significant in cultures. And in Canada, they've been found all along the West Coast. So all the way from Alaska to Washington, they've found labrets that have been preserved. And because they are commonly made out of stone, bone, wood, things like that, they do preserve well a lot of the time. So we can study them more easily. So labrets are a form of body modification that stretches the lower lip. Stretching lips or lobes was a common form of body modification. They're made of all sorts of different materials. Speculation has been stated throughout research that labrets were worn as a sense of societal status, but as more information is found, we've started to kind of challenge that belief and those conclusions and maybe rethink the reasons why they were worn by certain cultures. So for our case study, we chose to use the case study labrets and their social context in coastal British Columbia. The study was based on a sample of around 220 labrets found in British Columbia, and the author did a typography, put them into categories of size, shape, material in order to investigate the correlations between the labret and the wearer. The key findings were that some labret types were patterned geographically, so you would find different patterns in the north versus the south coast. In some areas, the material of the labret had cultural significance rather than just the labret itself. The materials could signify a different societal standing. And most importantly, the labret was significant for representing identity in different ways in different communities. So the Canadian use of labrets didn't really reflect the same European use that we had already discovered. So that kind of changed those views a little bit and makes you think more about what they could possibly have been used for.
So labrets and identity. They're an indicator of identity in some cultures, but as the more research that was conducted with our group and with bioarchaeologists in general, the more everybody's just confused. We don't actually know what they represent, how they represent in each community. Everybody's just kind of at a loss because the more we find them, the more conclusions haven't really added up. So studies in labrets and their social context in British Columbia points towards previously accepted ideas about them, like them being worn only by women. It's no longer found to be applicable. and speculation on societies who use Labrets. Um, it can be said that many took great care in crafting those pieces. They're very ornate and intricate Labrets that could have been used to identify important people within the community, such as shamans, um, hunters, gatherers, um, high societal women, anybody really that is of more importance than just the average folk within that community. And that's found to not be true anymore.
So in terms of modern Labrets, they're still very popular now. They still are done as a piercing. It's not as common anymore to stretch a Labret, but very many people still do it. It's no longer societally accepted as a form of status in most of the world. There are very few, very small communities that do still use them for cultural reasons. But mostly there's not very much overlap between the modern uses and the past uses of Labrets. But in modern times, often people will use them as a form of self-expression or just to have a certain look or aesthetic to their appearance rather than a significance of status. And there's our references. Thank you for watching.